Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Daulton from Hammond Chiropractic, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about protein because protein is probably the number one nutrient that most of us don't get enough of in our diet, and that's particularly difficult if you're a vegetarian or a vegan. Not that you can't find plenty of protein in vegetable sources, but it's just most people don't ever get the right amount of protein in their diet, and this is really significant because protein is necessary not only for us to maintain muscle mass, which is something that we all tend to lose as we age, but also it's very important for your bone density. You want to make sure that you keep nice, strong bones. And this is really important for women in particular because women are much more predisposed to developing osteoporosis or just osteopenia even. And of course, the significance of that is that that could lead to broken bones. And the worst thing that could happen is if you have a broken hip. That can lead to some very serious complications for people. So we want to make sure that we are looking at the amount of protein that we're getting in our diet on a daily basis and that we're getting plenty of it. So what is the normal recommendation? Well, typically, if you are not a physically active person, you're just the average person, maybe you do some activity, but you're not bodybuilding or training for anything in particular, then typically what you need is about 0.5 gram of protein per day for every pound of body weight that you are. So if you weigh 120 pounds, to maintain your muscle mass, you need about 60 grams of protein a day. If you are someone who is an athlete, or if you're a bodybuilder, or if you go to the gym very regularly and you work out intensively, you're going to need more protein, especially if your goal is to build muscle mass. So typically in a case of that nature, you're going to need closer to 1 gram of protein per day per pound of body weight that you weigh. So that's the general recommendation. Now, because most people don't get enough protein in their diets, what we find a lot of time happens is that people want to add a protein shake to their diet. And this is a good idea. However, if you've done protein shakes before, typically they don't taste great usually. You may have to mix them with some things to make them tolerable. But the other thing is that a lot of people have problems digesting them, and there's reasons for that. It may give you diarrhea, it may give you stomach cramps, but they're typically very difficult to digest. Now, we carry a protein shake. Well, we carry 2 different types of protein shakes in the office now. We typically use these in our weight loss program because when you increase your protein intake, it'll keep you full longer, so people tend to lose weight more quickly. But I really feel like everybody should do at least 1 protein shake a day just to make sure that they're getting the right amount of protein in their diet. So the proteins that we carry, they're made by a company called Phorm, and the reason that I like these is, number one, they taste absolutely delicious. And if you want to try one of our protein powders, we have some free samples at the office. We have whey protein and we have vegan protein, and you can choose between chocolate or vanilla for the free sample. Just let the ladies know at the desk when you come into the office, and they'll be happy to get you one of those. But the thing that makes these proteins different, and the reason why I decided that I wanted to use them in the office, is that, number one, let's talk about the whey protein first. A lot of people have a really hard time digesting whey, and the reason is because of how it's processed. So with the first Phorm protein, what they do is they cold process the protein so that, number one, we don't damage any of the protein molecules, but number two, they have purified the protein so much that your body actually processes it the same way that it would with real protein. So let me explain that first. So you have to understand that your body is very smart. If you drink a protein shake as opposed to eating a piece of steak, for example, your body is going to process that differently. It has a much easier time processing the protein from the meat, which is a real source of protein, than it does processing a chemical protein like a whey protein. So your body knows the difference, and that's why a lot of people have difficulty digesting these proteins. But the first Phorm whey protein is processed in a way that your body actually doesn't know the difference between this whey protein and real protein from a piece of meat, for example. So because of that, you don't get all the bloating, the indigestion, the diarrhea, all of the things that can happen if you have a reaction to whey protein. The other thing that's really nice about their whey protein powder is that it's high in an amino acid called glutamine. Now, when muscle, or actually I should say protein, is made of amino acids, and glutamine is one of those amino acids, but glutamine actually makes up 61% of the amino acids that make up the protein in the body. So it's very important that you have a protein powder that is high in this particular amino acid. The other thing the protein is high in is branched chain amino acids, or BCAA is what you may see it as. But this is really important because what this does is it helps you build muscle mass as well as maintain muscle mass. But it's also going to help your muscles deal with stress more effectively, and the muscle won't break down as easily when you're taking the branched chain amino acids. So this is all built into the whey protein powder that Phorm makes. Now, if you have any sensitivities to food, or I, for example, am allergic to whey, so I can't do a whey protein, they have a vegan protein powder that's really good. It tastes really good, and it's actually made from pea protein and rice protein, but they've added a few extra things in the vegan protein that I really like. They add a superfood blend, which is going to act as an antioxidant. So what this does is it reduces the amount of free radicals in your body, and that helps reduce inflammation in the body. So you're going to feel better overall. They also add digestive enzymes to the vegan protein powder so that your body can tolerate it much more easily. And that's actually how I discovered this company. You know, I don't know if you all may have heard me talk about this in a previous video, but about 8 years ago, I had developed a stomach virus. I have no idea how I got this thing, but it is the sickest I have ever been in my entire life. For 6 weeks straight, I was really sick. I couldn't keep any food down. Every hour on the hour, I'd be in the bathroom, and it was just awful. I couldn't work. I couldn't eat. I ended up losing around 40 pounds in that 6 weeks that I was sick. And but what happened after that, when it finally cleared up, I had developed a lot of food allergies. So anything that I ate would actually make me sick. And I had done a blood test because I wanted to see what was going on. And what I found out was that the main thing that I was allergic to was whey. And of course, at the time I was going to the gym and I was working out, so I was doing a protein powder every day, but I didn't realize why I wasn't feeling good, and that was the reason why. So I had to switch to a vegan protein. But here's what's interesting. When I switched to a vegan protein powder, I still reacted the same way to everyone that I tried it. They all made me ill. And it wasn't until I found the first Phorm vegan protein powder that my body was able to tolerate it, and it didn't give me any troubles whatsoever. Now here's what's interesting about this. Even though I have an allergy to whey, I wanted to try their whey protein because everybody talks about how good they are. And of course, if I'm going to have this in the office, I want to be able to tell the patients what they can expect. And let me tell you, they're delicious. You will think you're drinking a milkshake. It is so good. But believe it or not, their whey protein is so pure that my body can actually tolerate it. It doesn't affect me in a negative way at all. And I've never ever seen that with another whey protein because my body is so sensitive to it. So just kind of the main takeaways from this is that, number one, you want to make sure you're getting plenty of protein in your diet. If you know that you're not, or if you have a hard time with that, I strongly recommend that you start supplementing with a protein shake. I really think the ones that we have in the office are the best ones that I have ever seen anywhere. And if you'd like to try those, you're more than welcome to. We have free samples for you. So just come into the office, or the next time you're in the office, let the ladies at the front desk know that you're interested in that, and they can go ahead and get you one of those free samples, all right? All right, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I will talk to you soon.